And so we have our final week where it's solely online and studio, you and anyone else who's joining me. 71 is the start of a new series. The series is A, B, C, D, E. It's a series of 5, taking us lovely and easily into today to Friday. So the new series, 1 to 5 sessions, and A equals trunk. Whenever A is in the title, that's your trunk stability work. B will be legs, and C will be arms, and D will be sides, and E will be your back. Today we do A and B, so good morning to Lorna and to Jackie and to Emily. Great to see you in the room. Hopefully we'll have a great kind of series put together by the end of this week that will give you more challenge. Good morning, Michelle and Carol. If you're needing to know about equipment, today there'll be no equipment unless you want a chair, just so you get that sense of stability should you want to reach for it, but that is your choice. Make sure you are safe. Good morning, Sarah and Carol and Susan. You're doing a series today. You're on number, or no, it's not number actually, it's alphabetical series to differentiate it from the previous one. Good morning, Margaret. It's series A, B, C, D and E. A will always feature in this series. It'll just be A and B or A and C. I think you get my drift. Good morning, Diane, and good morning, Anne. We're going to work quite hard, I make no excuse. It's going to be quite an intense workout, and Patricia and Ken, welcome to the room. An intense workout, so that by the time you enter the studio next week, yes, you will feel as though you're very, very kind of connected and strong. Good morning, Margaret, as well, Margaret Lead. Your strength muscles will be required. It's a kind of global sequence that I've put together, and by the end you will feel great. Remember, trunk stability, which is going to be the component for abs in this, will always be about core hollowing, and the legs, it'll be obvious what's happening to the legs. You will know that you have legs, and you will feel very, very kind of connected by the end of it. We're going to start this series standing up. You may want to have a head pad ready for once it comes to lying down, but otherwise you're going to stand and have your feet wider than your normal parallel position. But they're staying parallel, they're not in turnout, they really are parallel. Obviously, make sure your feet are level from left to right and that the weight is through the outsides of the instep. We start slowly with the wider squat as you go down with the breath in and up with the breath out. And as I normally say, don't fuss if the breath is the opposite way around on you. What does matter though, that is not a choice you can make, is where the load goes. So your load has to go through to your heels, the arches of your feet are activated, and if you're finding that your squat always has a better connection with the trunk by reaching your arms backwards, then that needs to be what you do. If I was using the mat sideways, I'd be as wide as the mat is on a normal width of mat and on a normal height of body, okay? I think you get the idea. So we're going down, our feet are level. I'm always at an angle to you people, which is really quite interesting for me. I live on an angle. Keep the breathing going. Our legs are waking up, the big muscles. Remember, I'm calling this Pilates strength. A is trunk stability. So right now, trunk stabilizers, which is the breathing muscles, and legs, which is the B, legs are working and you've got that kind of synchronistic connectivity and balancing out. Keep this going just for 2 or 3 more. On this next one, so go 1 more for me, you're going to stay down, and in the downwards phase, relax your shoulders without losing your alignment. Put your fingertips to your hip bones and allow the pelvis to feel truly neutral. That means neutral will always be no twisting, shifting, no tucking under at the tailbone, but the feel of the core connection, abdominals. Your chest is the thing that tends to drop, so in your mind, if you had a torch mid-breastbone area, it'd be shining not down below you, but actually across the floor, but not to the wall in front of you or the screen you're watching. People, stay from there. I'm just going to shift my position to make sure I'm more giving you a better view. You're going to go up into your star, down back into your squat, and up into your star. That's slowly. So we go down and up you go. Inhaling into the star and exhaling to the star, inhaling to the ground. Pull yourself to the ground push the ground away. Find your squat and your stand. Often by pulling your arms in and then expanding them out with the leg going out, you'll get what you need. Find a very deliberate squat in between each star. So you squat, inhale, exhale, squat, diagonal line. The workload will start to increasingly head for your side bottom area, so the glutes, side buttock area, side leg muscles. Nothing going on in the knee joint, and the move is slow. You've got a very definite balance in between each squat, which is a double leg connection, to single leg balance. The secret is to push the ground away with the standing leg. So as you press the ground away, and press the ground away. Try doing this and talking. Keep this going. Inhaling, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Down you go and up you push. We're going to stay with one side now. So I'm going to keep going, down and push. Here, be conscious of not letting the leg that's moving, that the knee mustn't roll in. If your ankles naturally roll in, if you're the flat-footed version of life, I could do a roll call, I won't. Every time you do this, you've got to pull through the outside of the foot and both legs push away. Putting your hands on your hips can help the body know where the trunk is, okay? That connection there. I'm pressing the ground away, pulling my bottom backwards, pushing my hips forwards, pulling my hips backwards, pushing my hips forwards. Whichever way, it's a true squat and a true leg lift. Already now, the sense of getting into your side bottom area all the way here is what's going on. Last time, and ready for the other side. So you go, sides and sides. If you want to use an expansion with the arms, a T shape, you can. Focus, inhaling, push the ground away. Inhale, sit into the bum cheeks, breath out, press and open out at the bum, as it were. So you've got the closing and the shortening of the muscle as you do this, and the lengthening and use of all of the muscle group as you do the squat. So this is the big muscle, and this is the honing down into a tight connection with your side abductor muscles. When I do this side, it's my right side for me, I find it relatively docile. When I do it with the left leg lead, I'm very aware of the difference in strength. Whichever way, it's a star. Inhale that squat down, breath out the star. You can keep your hands on your hips. What you do want to avoid is twist at the pelvis. So in other words, don't break the connection between the pelvis and the ribs. Last time. And take your foot down, find your squat, put your hands here, and we've got a rolling spine ripple through the spinal column. Breath out, keep your hands where they are, elbows bend as your chin goes to your chest, and you will roll down. Your legs stay bent, your hands are on the floor. Breathe, and on the breath out, straighten your legs, inhale and bend them. As you push through your hands and your feet, you will get your hamstrings and glute connection, stretching right out. Breathing. It's your chance to shrink and hollow the abdominals. Last two. Last one. And obviously, when you've done your last one, the legs are very clearly bent. Your hands go to your thighs. Tuck the bottom under whilst keeping the legs bent. And remember that pelvic rolling spine always originates through the pelvic floor. You'll turn now and face and come maybe to the bottom end of your mat. In this positioning, the stepping back and stepping forwards is what you're aiming to achieve. If you want to reach for a chair, if that is the only way you're going to achieve this with any kind of technique, then please do that. We step back and fall. Step back, bending both legs. Remember, the weight comes away and into the front heel. In other words, you pull away from whichever surface you can see, and then you pull towards it. You step back. This is the stabilising. The minute I talk and mention stability, I nearly fell over. There you go. I believe that when you use a mat, it's a much harder workout. If the mat is particularly thick, like these studio ones, then the demand of stability is increased, which is actually good, but actually hard. Okay, we keep going. And use the same breath if you can, which is the inhale to move and the breath out to stand. Inhale, back we go. Exhale, pull the ground and push the ground. Pull the ground and push. You pull it down to you, you push it away from you. You bend both legs, you pull the ground down and push them away. We're going to stay with the ground down here. Now, it doesn't matter which your front leg is, it's going to change obviously each time. This is where if you do need something to reach for, by all means get that thing. If you can do without it, do, but not if your technique's shocking. To get used to this position, you're going to pull back and fall. Remember the reform where we have the scooter shape? This is really it. Now, to go back and forth and allow your arms to become part of the sequencing is perfect. If you need to put your hands on your hips, that's great. Whichever way, my load stays through my front heel and I get a good connect to the hamstring and the glute. Keep the breath going. 2 more. 1 more. And now you're going to do what we call mountain climber. So you're going tap and tap and tap. If you want to hold on, you can. If you want to stand up in between each one, you can. Whichever way. Remember, I've said, there's something wrong with my balance today. I've said that in terms of on a cushiony mat, you have greater demand for stabilisation. And I seem, for whatever reason, to be a little bit wobbly this morning. So I'm deliberately using this bar. Okay? You've got your step back, step up. Or you're staying down, which is a bit of a quicker move, or you can slow it down, but the whole emphasis is that you get straight into your hamstrings and your glutes. I can feel the hamstring pulling me up and lengthening and lowering me down. It's my last one. Stay up, ready for your other side. Step back and find your shape. So you crouch backwards and forwards. Back you go. You never quite stand up in this position here. It's your drawing back, both legs bend, and the back leg extends as the push, it bends as you pull. Push the ground away, pull the ground to you, away and to. Shoulders square, if you had your hands somewhere. 2 more. Already getting to hamstring glute, and then you've got the chance to do a tap and a pull back. Tap. This version, where you come all the way up and back, is almost harder than the quicker, smaller version. This is the quicker, smaller version, okay? Never quite standing up, but it targets stability of the side bottom on the leg that you're working. The full version asks the body for full range of movement through the hamstrings and the glutes, which I'm sure you're starting to be aware of. If it's in your lower back or your sacrum, then we know you're tucking under as you go back and forth, or you're twisting. So slow it down and be conscious of using the heel of the front leg. Again, if you're a flat back bendy wendy, I really would use a chair or a work surface, because it's going to teach you how to get a better balance and stability. Keep this going. Back we go, and forwards we come. Backwards and forwards. Last 2. And last one. Okay, from that position there then, big breath in. Find your squat, put your hands here, bit of a stretch for the bottom. Breathe out, pull your chin to your throat, and roll down without tucking the bottom under. Same forwards bend, pull the abdomen abdominals tight in, and then step backwards with your whichever leg feels most comfortable, and then step the other leg back to find your plank. Now, everyone, I'm going to suggest you kneel down initially. Get your hair out of your mouth. Keep your shoulders over your wrists. Keep your chest open and your upper back connected. This is the trunk stability part. So we said it's an A and B, stability and legs. Core connect the breathing, and then find your plank and stay with your long legs. From plank, our opener is going to go pyramid, trunk stability, breathe in, breathe out and pull yourself perfectly into your plank. Breathe in and push your seats up, heels high. Breathe out, pull your chest forwards and come forwards at the end of the mat. Inhaling. Now obviously it's really easy to not use your abs and to keep it all in the wrong part of the shoulder, but we've been working on this, haven't we? As you use your breathing, inhaling, the breathing out will always be pelvic floor, navel to spine. The inhale, hips high, heels high, pelvic floor maintains, and navel to spine. So your breath in is in your armpits, and your breath out, reminding the trunk to find pelvic floor under navel to spine. Last two of these, pyramid, moving to plank. Obviously rest if it's too intense. Last one. And the next time you find yourself in plank, lower the knees down and take a well-earned counter stretch. In this position here, breathe deeply in and out, and then tucking the bottom under, find yourself out of your stretch. We're going straight into side lying now. So find yourself with your find yourself into your side lying shape. Use the edges of the mat as we understand, and then bend the underneath leg, keeping the heel just under the knee of the straight leg, and allow your posture to go down. You can either use your head pad or your hand under your head, it really doesn't matter. We now calm the activity down to pelvic stability with leg circles. The breath out is the lifting up and over, and the breath in, down and under, cusping past your underneath heel, underneath leg. It's as though you want to brush the inner thigh and the inside of ankles. Your movement requires pelvic stability, that's the trunk part of this, with the leg pushing out of the thigh bone, out of the hip bone, sorry, so the thighs reaching out of the pelvis. You've got two more here. If you're not sure you're getting it right, have a look at the leg. Now stay, point the leg. You're now going to go up and down, but it's not big. Resist the temptation to throw your leg really high. It's up slightly higher than the height of the crest of the hip here, but it's pulling down. The thigh pulls out of the pelvis as described, the underneath leg is strong, and the waist on the side you're lying is most certainly off the floor. Inhaling and exhaling, I'd use my breath out to lift and my breath in to lower. It's an active lifting and an active lowering. You've got three more here. We're doing around 10 of each position to get a strong wake up of the area that we're interested in. If you're getting it in front of here, then you're tilted or tucked under. People, the next time you come to parallel, stay. Flex at the ankle, now go back, doing a circle one way, forwards, doing it the other. You're going to abduct and lift and lower, forwards, changing direction each time you come to the bottom of the circle. It's quite a nice rhythm, but a really strong activation of your abductor sequence. The breathing keeps the pelvic stability, so remember we're doing trunk stability with leg dominance. Trunk stabilised and legs. The idea of this series is that you could choose A and B, A and C. You could choose A, B, C, just stitching the workouts together and thinking, oh my goodness, I could. We're now right deep into your abductors. That should be a yes from me. Are you ready? Final move here is lower down and tap the floor to the front of the mat. Lift up and tap the floor behind the mat. Up you go with the breath out. Inhale, lower. Exhale. It's a smile where you're allowing the leg to effectively go over the other leg forwards and backwards. A smooth curve. All the while these obliques are stabilising. So we've talked a lot about people feeling in the wrong place in this. I've tried to reduce everything back down again to make sure that no matter what your posture type, bendy Wendy's or strong, although you strong people like Debbie Davis, Leslie Howell, you really must tilt your pelvis for pelvic neutral. Same with you, Sarah Butler. Okie dokie people, just two more like this. 1 and 2. Let it drop behind and have a moment to rest. The moment is called a breath. Your next shape is going to be straight into hands and knees. Taking yourself to the front of the mat, onto all fours. In the hands and knees position, you're back to trunk stability, which is armpit to hips. You're in a neutral spine and your abdominal wall is working quite hard along with your upper shoulder stabilizers. Check where your knees are and stretch out your leg in the way you've learned. So I've got my right leg out straight, hands and knees position, my head's pulling forwards through the top end of the mat. My leg's going to lift and lower. Exhale it up and inhale it down. Because I did my left leg on my side lying position, my right leg is the one I'm using now because it's less fatigued. You've got another 5 of these. So our aim is about 10. And the secret on leg lift and lower is that you don't lift so high that your back moves. I've got a pretty decent range with pelvic stability, although I'm keeping it very clearly within the range. It's still that feel of reach the leg out to the hip rather than just think of lifting the leg. 2 more. Now stay and flex at the knee. In other words, you've got a leg bend. Pull the knee down to a tap. Check that the thighs are level and push it back up. Inhale, folding at the hip. Breath out, push up. If your ground has disappeared, you've already lifted your hips up out of alignment. Not advisable. Again, the correct connect will be the breath. So on the breath out, if you wait to feel the abdominals trunk connect you, your leg will move more happily within the hip. People, you've 2 more before we do something a little bit different. 1 more, keep the leg up. I'm now going down onto my forearms and crossing one hand on the other, keeping my chest over my thumbs. I'm going to pull the knee to my elbow and push it up and away. Pull my knee to my elbow and push it up. You've got a little bit of rotation as you come in the direction of the elbow. So exhaling and inhaling. Inhale, pull the knee and elbow, breathe out and push. Again, the hips go nowhere, the trunk is stable. You're feeling quite a bit of activity in the side bottom. If it's horrible in your shoulder, then you've got your movement pattern wrong. So reduce it right down to maybe a lower and a lift. Whichever way, the next time you find your leg up in the air, stay and come back to hands and knees true. Stretch out this leg and allow the leg now to turn out and tap the outside of the mat. Breathe and take it over to the other side. I'm now going from one side to the other. Inhale, exhale. If you're not sure what's going on, let the head go down and have a look. The thigh, knee, leg should be vertical under the hip. No twisting or collapsing over to one side. Keep pressing the ground away with your armpit area from your hand to your armpit as you come up and over, in, turn out, up and over, in, turn out, up and over, and up and over. If all you can do is a smaller move, then that too is fine. So you'd end up centre mat, side, centre, side. If your range allows you to go over the leg, then do. You've got 3 and 2 and 1 and pull the knee in, send your bottom back and come back up for your other side. I'm sure you're really excited. Now stride out the other leg, get the hair out of your face, keep breathing, you're in all fours. You lift and lower. Breath out to lift and reach, breathe in and lower down. Pushing the ground away. If it's your left leg that's moving up and down, that's known as your gesture leg, then the left armpit, trunk side works harder. In other words, your right hand arm is lighter, so make the most of that knowledge. As you tire, the breathing becomes more significant, so that rather than hoping for your arms to do the job of the trunk stability, you make your trunk muscles do that. You've got 2 more. 1 more. Stay and bend. So you've got the hamstring curl as you lower that bent leg and push the ground away. Breathing in, it comes down, cusping the floor. Exhale, you push it up. Go on, big breath out. Breathe in. Don't sag and lose the tensioning breath, okay? The breath muscles really want to contribute to your arms, shoulder stabilizing, and your hip stability. The lift is as high as you can go without overusing or using any of your back actually. Nothing in the lower back should be active. You've got 2 more again. This time, stay and go down onto your forearms, plus your head in your hands if you want. Now pull the knee to the elbow and push it back. So the knees, this is where the turnout starts to happen. The thigh bone rotates out as it pulls, but the pelvis goes nowhere. We rotate and push. And push. Inhale, abduct and rotation, exhale, push. You've got 4 more. Come on, 1. It should be side bottom. 2, 3, 4, and stay. Come back onto your hands and knees as in both arms are straight now. Stretch out the leg. Have a little look. Go to turn out of the leg. Lift it up and pull it over. Go back to the knowledge of pushing harder through the armpit area of the leg that's doing the gesturing. It comes up and over, stays in turnout, it comes back down. Your modification here is a small kind of lift and lower. Your knowledge as to whether this is working is the side of your bottom, the abductor side hip work is deeply happening, okay? It's not pinpoint, it's definitely a spread of request from a variety of muscles. As you're pushing and pulling, as you lift and over, exhale up, inhale over, breathe out, up and over, breathe in, back you come. Are you ready for 4 and 3? Don't forget your trunk stability from your armpit. 2. Last one, over you go. Return it back, pull your knees in and into a release of the bum muscles, making them longer and more released. You're now in the right position to get yourself for side lying again. So side lying here, legs are long and straight, lined up using the side of your mat, head cushion, shoulders underneath legs. Top leg is straight, your waist is off the floor on the side you're lying, and deliberately open your shoulders so that you're not nurturing a kind of overly tense from the all fours shape. We start then, you can point your toes and do your leg circling. Now when I say point your toes, I would probably suspect that if you're a bendy-wendy flat-footed, I would say flex at the ankle always, just because you're going to get a better connection feedback to the right parts of the body. Now the leg that's underneath stays bent and pressing down. Both sides of the hip therefore activated. You're in your side leg muscles with your trunk stabilizer sides. The circle is your thigh bone reaching out of your pelvis staying true. Neutral evidence is the side waist off the floor as you're lifting and circling and lowering down. The circle, sometimes when I see people on Zoom, I see these massive circles. People, the circle is small and it's tight and it's deliberately asking for the deeper sequence to happen in terms of connection. People, you'll stay now with your legs straight and you can point your toe if you want to as you do the small lift and lower. Make lots of your breath. Keep these abs hollowed. We're abducting and keep it going. 2 more. And 1 more. Go back to flexing and circle backwards and down and forwards and over. Now the directional circles shift. We go one way and we go the other. The circle should be recognisable. If it's a squiggle, if it's a star, if it's a square, use more breath and take more time. Maybe take it to a semicircle. If you can't easily do these circling actions, you might as well go to a semicircle, I think. So the exhale is the up and over. Now we feel lots happening. Side of the bottom into the side, the abductor. You're going up and over, and up and over, and forwards, up and over. Last 2, up and over. Last 1. It feels great, doesn't it? Okay, and let the leg finish behind. And how time flies when we're having fun. Finally, ready for abs. I'm going to switch around to make sure I can see the screen. Just helps me to know what you're seeing of me. Use your head pad. Get everything level. And to get the position, exhale, curl up. Once you're curled up, abduct your legs into turnout. So you've got your frog legs, toes together, not heels. And then place your hands to the sides of your knee. Breath out, shrink the tum, find an imprint and curl. Stay, breathe in, and then breathe out and come back down. Breath out, you'll curl up in the direction of the sides of the knee. Breathe in, and then breathe out and back down. Hands behind the head, start exhale up, squeeze your elbows in, inhale and back down. You're in imprint. Up you go. Pelvic floor, navel to spine. You only have 4 more before we move on. Breathing out, the forwards rolling rib cage, shoulders off the floor. Breathing in, returning back down. You'll stay out with this one. Take the hands back to here now as you lift up into tabletop and lower down. Exhaling, up you come. Inhale and down you go. Keep the symmetry. If you can't do this in turnout, simply go to parallel. Life's too short. And the next time you curl up, you're going to stay. Keep the turnout, put your head down. Exhaling then, squeeze your thighs and reach the toes. You're staying in turnout. Breathe in and come back. I got cramps of me. Breath out, use your inner thighs, pull them tight together. You're in turnout, breathe in and breathe out. You can use your upper body strength to hold the back of the thigh in towards the hamstring, and that assists the rolling spine. Breath and return. Breath out and breathe in. Last 2. You're going to leave it with your legs out in turn out. So that's your last one, and put your head down. So strong legs with trunk stability. You're going to crisscross and start to bring your legs up as you crisscross. Inhaling and exhaling. And then start inhaling. Keep the hands strong on the ground to go away from the hip positioning, as it were. So you're still in imprint and you're crisscrossing. You will only do this with really strong abdominal connection and breath. The criss, cross, originates not with the feet, but with the thighs. There's nothing wrong with keeping it in the same place. It's about the thighs working within a pelvic imprint. So your leg muscles are strong. We've talked about this for teaser. And I'm deliberately feeding strong legs, ready for teaser. And you have to breathe and really focus your trunk stabilizers in this shaping. 2 more. 1 more. And pull your knees into your chest. From there then, we're going to curl up to seated, and we will finish this sequence with teaser, because I promise strong legs. I'm going to suggest everyone, because then no one can fail at this, comes to a pelvic imprint of the lower back here, so pull the hips backwards. Your arms, upper body is helping you. You're going to pull the right leg up, reach it out and lower it down and lift it up. As you resist the pelvis moving, as your leg lowers and lifts, you've got the relationship between the obliques and the quadriceps, the flexors. As you're lifting and exhale up and inhale down. My abdominals are working like crazy. My quads are working really hard. 2 more. We're building up that strength. 1 more. Don't lift higher than your thigh bone, ready with the bent leg. And then bend the leg, breathe in. Lift it up, flex and lower. If you can't feel your abdominals, then your pelvis hasn't found its stable position and the trunk oblique stabilizers can't work. You're going down, inhaling and inhale lower, exhaling. Breathing in, down you go. And up, and down, and up. Is it making sense? Are you now getting a switch on of your trunk stability with your limb load, which is your quads, your hip flexors, everything from the knee joint all the way to the hip bone, across the joint of the hip, thigh bone to pelvis. Last 2, refuse to let your pelvis go. Last 1, and pull yourself up. Now our abs are switched on, we're going to finish off with a little sequence to test your stability. If your knees, put your hands do. Exhale, push the legs up, inhale and down. Let's go 1 leg at a time, let's be kind. Breathe out. So people like Ken, if you can't lift your leg high, push it low and pull it back to bend. So this is level 1, push it low and back to bend. That way you will strengthen your stabilizers in the trunk, ready for asking more of the stabilizers trunk to hip. We need both ends strong. So you're either going leg reach, leg bend, alternating leg reach, leg bend. Inhale to reach it, breathe out to pull it back. Inhale to push it away, exhale to pull it back. Or you're going leg lift and back, leg lift and back. Or you're able to take both legs up and down. Whichever way, you can't bypass one of the rules. From that position there then everyone, take your legs and straighten them out, then take them as wide as your mat is, sit right onto your sit bones. Exhale to forwards reach here. Inhaling and exhaling to lose the tension of the oblique abs. And then take your hands behind you. Breathe, find your heels and open your hips. So in opening the hips, losing the stretch and the tightness that goes on in the hip flexors, push the ground away, your hips open. If you can't do that easily because of your shoulders, then simply a spine curl might help. Whichever way, a bridge position is really what I'm talking about. Last time for this one. And let that go. All right, so that's all we have time for. I'd actually planned more. It's interesting. In theory, that's a 30-minute workout, but we're now 40 minutes in. Take care. Go over this workout again. It's a series A to E, and it should make a good sense of coming back to the studio and just keep you going anyway, generally, if you're not coming back because you can't. It should keep all of the right muscles totally involved in your workout. Slightly different to the other series of days 1 to 20. Don't abandon days 1 to 20. This is just another offering that keeps progressing us and challenging us to stay strong with our Pilates. It's a goodbye from me then, as I come and say goodbye and switch off, ready for the Zoom. Cannot wait to see most of you at the studio, but I get the feeling I'm seeing most of you every morning this week. Stay well, enjoy the sun. I do believe it's a pleasant day, and we obviously cannot wait to see you face to face. For now, I will say a fond farewell.